Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. I'm MysteriousJG. So the last big, super long video didn't go that good. And I'm back. I thought about trying to beat this thing off screen just to find a strategy that worked and then show you the winning strategy. If I have another big failure, I guess I'll have to do that. But, I don't know, that's not generally my style. My style is usually let you guys see both the struggles and the triumphs. That being said, I went back to town, or not to town, to a save crystal, because I got to continue from entering the screen where I died, which seemed generous of the game, but, you know what, I didn't actually check my, inventory to make sure that I didn't lose all of those, items, but I've got 99 Phoenix down, so apparently I did not. So what I did is I realized I had people equipped with stuff to prevent certain bad status ailments I was worried about in the fight against Carrot. These enemies aren't really doing much with status ailments other than blind. So I could choose something that makes you immune to blind. Matter of fact, that's probably a good idea. What I did off screen was I gave all the boys steel Polions, which prevents you from hitting traps, just for the trip here. Since they hit a trap on the way here and got diseased, and that really made things kind of unsalvageable. But it might be a good idea to do half damage, dark, immune, blind. Actually, that's a really good idea for the people who are not magic casters. For the people who are magic casters, I mean, I went and read the strategy for this fight. There wasn't a whole lot in the Final Fantasy Wiki. It doesn't treat it like it's a big deal kind of battle. There are other battles that I didn't have much trouble with, and I went back and looked after the fact, and it's like, oh, they gave you a lot of detailed information on this one, thinking it was going to be really bad, but I didn't find it too bad. So what I was thinking of doing is giving everybody, oddly enough, the most useful thing seemed to be cat ear hoods, because that halves damage from two different elements, and some of those skeletons like to cast multi-target elemental magic spells. But maybe I'm better off making people immune to... you can be immune to silence. You can be immune to blind, because you are using physical attacks occasionally. You should probably be immune to blind. The only one who's not going to be immune to blind is Balthier, because he's the only one who's pretty much never going to physically attack. And that being said, Balthier might want cat ear hoods, because I don't remember anyone getting muted during this fight. Although if he has other options, to, not really. He's sort of kings. He doesn't have that many things to choose from, does Balthier. But there's not that much strategy. It says that I think apparently it is possible to fight enough skeletons without actually triggering that boss that they stop spawning. Although we had gotten through the end of the alphabet and they were still spawning. There's also stuff about how the actual way this room works. There are, and this makes sense, there are spawn points throughout the room. If you get close to certain spots, they will appear. And we know from other maps that you'll think you have an area cleared, and then you'll go someplace and new monsters will pop up when you return someplace you've already been, because there are spawn points. So that's how that works. So they recommend you keeping your party members in close to avoid triggering extra enemies, because it did seem sometimes like I thought the skeletons were done, and then they started popping up again, and I guess it's because characters are moving around too much. But mostly what I've done is I changed everyone's gambits. There's not a whole lot going on gambit-wise. I'll manually control healing as best I can. But everybody is set to attack the highest max HP foe. Balthier will use Aqua, because I did learn from reading online that Roblon takes half damage from all elements except water, which he takes double damage from. So kind of don't know how you're supposed to figure that out, since Libra doesn't tell you, but anyway. So, but pretty much everyone's only attack is going to be to physically attack highest max HP foe, because I'm really going to go out of my way to make sure that I don't waste all my time fighting the skeletons. Because even if there are ways to get rid of all the skeletons, like that's the way we cheese that one lightning Esper, it seems like the game really wants you to prove that you can defeat this thing while fending off the attacks of its minions. You're not supposed to be able to clear out all the minions. It's not how it's meant to go down. We will get sap applied as soon as we can. There are accessories that the game recommends for these fights that I don't have yet, including ones that meet... Because a big problem I was having was that, you know, I was trying to clear these enemies out, the skeletons out, with healing magic, and it kind of wasn't working because a whole bunch of them have Reflect applied. And you can manually go in and dispel Reflect, but it takes a lot of effort. And I had even considered a strategy where I cast Reflect on all my characters and used exclusively potions to heal. But A, I don't have that many high potions, it's only 40-some, and B, I don't have accessories that give you auto-reflect, so I would be constantly applying reflect. That might be the thing that I try next if this doesn't work. But I wanted to see, okay, it feels like I was really inefficient with my use of mists. I really fought far more skeletons than I needed to. Maybe if I just concentrate on the big boss, kept you waiting, this won't be quite so bad, and I can just knock this thing out. To that end, I'm going to flee my way towards it, because we know we're going to trigger skeletons, and I kind of don't want to bother with them. Well, actually, this is an awful lot of them. This is an awful lot of skeletons. So they blinded Balthier. If I can just clear out these, this is like 5. If I can get to a point where I'm fighting 3 or 4 at once, I'm fine. Even if they're using the max HP thing, right now, they'll be consistently hitting the, pretty much all going after the same one, probably. Whatever you guys want to do. So, I was going to run past them and ignore them, but that triggers so freaking many. I probably need to just start ignoring them once I've gotten to Rob Lawn himself with fewer than like 5 skeletons attacking me at a time. And I think not worrying about blind seems to be a good idea. Okay. Now let's head this way and actually go mess with Roblon. First things first. No, not obey your thirst. Let's dispel his protect and shell. He doesn't have reflect going right now. And let's go for bio. Okay, so now he's got sap. Bosch is in real trouble because he got hit with the big magic attack. Don't know what else to bother trying to apply on him. Oh, he's already got bravery. Let's get another high potion on Bosch, and let's have Bosch, while this thing is not, apparently does not have oh, it has reflect up now, so So let's Dispel, Reflect, and then apply Slow. After that, once he's got Sap and Slow applied, I probably won't care too much if he wants to... Well, no, I have to get rid of... I have to keep Reflect off of it if it's going to... if Balthier is going to be using magic on it. Okay. I'm running through the potions way too fast here. I don't think first aid is really that useful. Now we can go for Slow. The only reason to keep Reflect off of Roblon once he has Slow is so that Balthier can be useful. And as a matter of fact, to that end, probably check and see. Slow and Sap, okay. It's going for Fear, so I'm going to need to get and they used it on who? I don't know who used it on, but they still seem to have MPs, whoever they are. Bosch and Balthier just seem to be trying to keep Balthier alive. Maybe I could go for a high potion on Balthier, and maybe Bosch could give Balthier some regen or something. Because the enemies really seem to hate Balthier. Can you blame him, really? Okay, Van is out of MP, which doesn't matter at all. I want to check something. Balthier is Regen, but not Protect. So one other little thing that we might want to do for him is give him Protect. And even though it'll kill Roblon slower, I won't have to worry as much about keeping Balthier cured if he starts using Drain instead of Aqua. Because he's barely ever getting off any Aqua anyway. He's constantly having to heal himself with potions. I better find someplace to buy high potions, though, because I'm blowing through them all. This already seems to be working a lot better, actually. Drain is keeping Balthier alive. The enemies really hate Balthier. I'm not sure what it is about him that's got them so pissed. But Roblon is more than half dead, and this is going way easier than last time. Need to make sure that Balthier keeps plenty of hit points, though. Now here's where we find out if Drain goes through Reflect. It doesn't other... Some Final Fantasy games it seems to do that, others it doesn't. Feels like it's going through it. He's not slowed anymore. Might be pushing our lucks a bit. Since this pattern is working, I probably really should just leave it alone, but I'd like to slow him again. Though he's pretty weak, and I probably just need to stick with what seems to be working here. So if I'm being honest with you guys, the big thing I couldn't have figured out for myself from the way that last battle went, really was just the fact that Roblon's weak against water. But the strategy that finally started winning for us involved drain, not water. So really, even reading what I did read online didn't help me. Mostly this is gained experience from my previous failure, so I feel a little better about that. I always feel kind of bad if I need to go to fact to figure out how to beat an enemy, although that's going to happen a lot in this game, because some of the optional bosses have some pretty out there special things they get to do. But I think immunity from blind for everyone except Balthier turns out to have been a really good idea. So Balthier is running out of MPs. He won't be able to cast Drain after a while. Nice if we could beat this guy before then, and we have. Roblon vanquished. To be quite honest with you, I don't even care about these assholes anymore. Well, I mean, it would be nice to beat... No. I know it's weird, but I kind of want to explore the room, see if there's any treasure chests behind where he showed up, anything to interact with up here. And there actually is something. So let's finish off this fight. Well, for one thing, we definitely need to change gambits, because we can't have Balthier using Drain on these guys. It'll kill him. Yeah, but there does seem to be something we can interact with here. If we could get Balthier out of the party, that would be handy, actually. Now, somebody can bring him back, just so that he doesn't miss out on any of the fun later. The tabernacle of the shrine is held fast. Okay. Well, I don't know what happens with that. Not sure what happens with that later, but I feel like we have to explore it. I feel like we can come back and explore it later. I don't want to lose the good work that we've managed to do here. of actually finishing off Roblon. Because I felt like kind of a bridge too far there. I wonder how many high potions we've burned through there. Oof, almost half of our high potions. So we've got to get someplace where we can restore our high potion count. But first I want to get back to civilization. Or just at least get away from this place. Even friends, the only troops in this place. Get away from this place for you and your friends, the only creeps. Yep, there you go. That was significantly better approach to Roblon, the ignore his minions and beat on him approach. We got a little bit lucky that they just decided they really, really hated Balthier. Oh, that's understandable, of course. But, fine. Go ahead and de-stonify Balthier. Didn't we find out he doesn't have stone? Oh, he does have stone. Okay. So we will save having defeated that big old bad boy. And that'll be it for all of the hunt missions. But it was late. Maybe I wasn't thinking that strategically. Maybe I was committed to a failed strategy and wasn't willing to adapt. But I feel really bad about how poorly that last video went, and only a little bit good about how quickly we turned it. We did it this time. Don't know that it really fully makes up for just how poorly the last effort went, but we did it. That's, I guess, the point. No point fussing over our previous failure. That being said, I do kind of want to get back to Rabanastre and reap our rewards. Because unless I'm highly mistaken, we should have every available hunt ready to report back and collect whatever rewards we get for it. There's only 3 that we haven't already reported back, I guess. So we got to go to the aerodrome in Albina, rather. Mossforan High Wastes, and Albina. So I guess we're not going straight back to Rabanastre, really. We got to go back and report all these to the individual people. Alright, guys. Go ahead and set off the traps, whatever. I don't care. Just looking for the fastest way to a teleport crystal. And that was not this way. Alright. Those guys seem a little far away from their territory. Whatever they are, the little goblin imp guys. Their names start with B, and I've blanked on what it is, but I associate them more with the dead lands of Nabudis and the Necrohall of Nabudis than anything else. So we know we had one in Albina Fortress. Let's get going on that. And one of them was in the Mossfern Highways, and then the other one was in an aerodrome, which I guess we can get to from here, I believe. Let me see, what menu do I need to go to actually figure this out? Changing my mind about which is the fastest way to get there twice probably made it take longer than it would have going the wrong way the first time. So they were real close to the entrance to the aerodrome. And actually from here we can probably just walk to the Malfeasance Highways, or whatever it's called, the Weezand of Kados. So, is a high waist a thing in the real world? Hald is the guy who tends to be able to spot words that get used a lot in high fantasy and then determine whether or not they have any actual real world where they get used. So, or if they come from, you know, archaic words or whatever. High waist, I think, is pretty much made up, but at least it sounds like it comes from real words, unlike Weezand. Garden of Decay, Grand Bower, Corridor of Ages, see, Piebald Path. Piebald Path? That must be where Una walks. Deadlands is kind of a real-world term, I think, sort of, and whether Necrohall is a real thing or not, I couldn't tell you. It might be that, like, in ancient religions, they had temples dedicated to the dead that are actually officially known for real as Necrohalls. But it's the kind of thing that probably shows up more often in fantasy fiction than it does in the real world, if it shows up in the real world at all. So you are the guy who wanted us to take out one of those enemies. You've done it. You've stopped the Roblon. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass. It involved a pretty lengthy failure video. I almost split. Had a video I split into one like 24 5-minute video and then one 45-minute video. I almost split it into 3 videos, buddy. But I ended up making one 45-minute failure video. I was afraid to tell you before, but the Roblon was made by my son. When I heard its description, I knew it could be no other. Go on, I guess I have to kill you. My son died 2 years ago in the war. Without its master, the Roblon must have begun its rampage in the ruins of Nabadis. Hey there, Jovy. Ah, Morgan, what is it? Make any progress on that golem hunt of yours? An astute guess, but much more than progress. The hunt is finished, thanks to this boy. Oh, I mean, for once, Fan was part of the party that defeated the monster. You're still young yourself, Jovy. Isn't it high time you... Yes, that's true. I need to get building my own golem that can go berserk when I'm dead. Wouldn't even let me finish my sentence. Good of him to take an interest in the troubles of an old man, but he can be an odd one, that Jovy. By Jovy. But it's to you I owe my thanks, and a bounty, I believe. Here you go, boy. Thank you. Got a giant's helmet, some mithril, and a little bit of gil. You got anything else to say? Son, I developed that golem for the good of Nebradia. We never meant for it to do harm. That seems a different life now. Hard to believe so much has happened in these 2 short years. Yeah, a lot has happened. Like, for example, the death of your whole zone. Okay, this is the same story as before. No updates. The fake stonemasons. They're members of the Bilderborg group instead of the Bilderberg group. You looking for the airdrome? I'll take you. Yes, please. Don't know if there's a specific one of these I'm supposed to go to, but I'm coming here. So that's that. Now, at some point, I'll need to do some more flying around to see the rest of these sisters who are being wooed against their wills, but not right now. Okay, well, she's in here somewhere, but it doesn't get its own map, so I'll just have to figure it out. It was a lady. That's pretty much what I remember. It was a Hume lady. I don't think it was somebody who was working behind a counter either. You've given my precious little carrot a rest. Imagine my surprise when I learned she was a Marlborough. My husband and I married in the passion of youth, you see, but as the years wore on, the passion wore out. This is more than I asked. When he was sent to an albina, I found Carrot and brought her home to raise her. My husband, though he worries a great deal about keeping up appearances, I didn't know how he would react to my little pet. So I think I half wanted her to escape, and now look at what's become of the poor dear. Why, look, I do believe it's Jovy. Jovy! Bon Jovi? What's Jovy's deal? I see something at the center of the plot. My ladies and Bradia, is something amiss? Have you seen your husband yet, or is this about Carrot? My husband is the same as he ever was. But this young man has solved my difficulties with Carrot. Maybe Jovy will have some kind of mission later. I wonder what's gotten into Jovy. He's a dear, sweet fellow, you know. He's from Rabanastre, but he speaks with me in Arcadian as though we were fast friends. I thought she was like some snotty upper-class person. I wouldn't think she'd be into, like, the pigmen. I know that classism isn't the same as... Well, I was about to say racism. Racism doesn't really work in this game because you have truly different races, different species, as opposed to just different skin colors. But you know what I'm getting at. Like, you wouldn't think the stuck-up Hume lady would be talking to one of the, whatever his race was called again. Sikhs, I think. I fear I may be known as Madame Marlborough in Arcadius for some time to come, but at least I know I can raise a proper monster, eh? In fact, I've given some thought to opening a pet boutique of sorts. There is no shortage of unwanted monsters walking Arcadia's byways. I shall take in the Portiers and raise them as my own. My husband is not even in Arcadius, so it shouldn't bother him overmuch. Well now, never let it be said you do not show gratitude to those who help me. Here is your reward, dear. 5,200 gil, a stink bomb, and putrid liquid. Great. Thanks for giving me putrid liquid and a stink bomb, lady. You're the best. I booked passage with the next ship bound for Arcadius. What the future holds for me and my husband, I cannot say. She won't say. She won't say. Who was it? She didn't say. Huh. But apparently we can't fly to Arcadius, so whatever, game. We have to go on land. I don't know if the game gives us a reason. I really don't recall. Being said, I'm not really sure. I'm a little reticent to take on the next big... because now that we've dealt with that, our big challenges before we resume the plot would be Esper battles, and I really kind of got my confidence taken away from me by that defeat against Roblon and his infinite army of skeletons. Still, though, the next logical thing to try would be taking on some of the Espers that are currently available. But it might not be a bad idea to come back once we've advanced in the plot enough to get our next guest character. So I think what I will do is call it a video here, and when we come back, we will go to Rabanastre, get our various rewards. The thing is that the next Esper I need to fight is in Rabanastre, so it's really would make sense to at least take a crack at it. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Anyway, folks, we'll be back next time with more Final Fantasy adventure. Thank goodness that battle with Roblon went just a little bit smoother. Bye.